Hey everyone, it's Ben Hardy here, and I have a huge update on the new Land Cruiser, and yes, the title of this video is very accurate. I am in fact dumber than dumb. Let's get into it. So just a quick overview, this is my Land Cruiser first edition that I actually bought pre-owned, and hello cat that likes to complain. Look at that tail wiggle. He is not a very happy camper. Anyways, I bought this pre-owned with about 3,500 miles on the odometer, and quickly pop over inside. I think we've got just over 6,000 miles on her now. But anyways, in a previous video I talked about selling this first edition because we do need a vehicle that is larger in size, more specifically a vehicle that just has a third row. None of the cars that we currently have a third row, because the car that we did have that had a third row had a bunch of issues, so we ended up selling it. And this was the car that I talked about deciding to sell just because it's the one that least excites my wife and I, and it's also the one that kind of least meets our needs, and I mentioned all that in that video. Now, since making that original video talking about selling the Land Cruiser because it would make the most financial sense, given the fact that, well, first off, we're two people, so having 3 cars already is quite excessive, and having 4 cars would make no sense whatsoever. But well, a few things have changed. So first off, my wife and I have narrowed things down to a specific vehicle. And when I say specific vehicle, I'm not talking about, oh, we narrowed it down to a particular make and a particular model and a particular trim package. No, we have found a particular vehicle that I currently have a sort of deposit on. It's a long story. I'll explain it in the delivery video as long as everything goes well. I hope everything goes well because I already have a one-way plane ticket purchased. And so if it doesn't go well, that'll be really awkward trying to get home. But anyways, yes, we have narrowed it down to a particular vehicle, and with the deal that we have on this vehicle, it makes absolutely no sense to trade in this Land Cruiser. I did get an appraisal, but because of the particular area that we're buying the vehicle out of, or most likely buying, I need to put that caveat there, the value on this Land Cruiser in that area is very low. And it's just market dynamics. It happens all the time. And let me just explain it. So here in Utah, Land Cruisers, more specifically mid-trims and first editions, completely sold out. First editions have been sold out for months. And mid-trims are sold out, I think, for like the next, I think if you want to get one, you have to wait like 6 to 12 months to get one. Whereas this place that we bought this car out of, not only do they have mid-trims on the lot, some dealers in this area still have first editions. It's crazy the difference between particular markets with these new Land Cruisers. Like in some markets, like ours, they're the hottest thing on the planet and they are selling left and right. In other markets, they're not selling. It's not whatsoever. Like, they are selling to an extent, but just not nearly as well. So suffice to say, the trade-in value was absolutely abysmal. I mean, just to give you an idea of how bad the trade-in value was, if I went and crashed this Land Cruiser into a wall and then had it rebuilt, so it had a, rebuilt, reconstructed title, I would be able to trade it in for more money here in Utah than I would be able to at this other market. It's that big of a difference. It just astounds me. So this is like a long way of saying that we're not going to be selling a Land Cruiser even though we're getting the new vehicle. I'm doing the smartest thing financially, as in I'm buying the new vehicle without selling the old one. Side note, in Utah, whenever a land developer sees farmland like this, all they do is just lick their chops. They're like, I cannot wait to destroy Utah's ability to produce its own food. And so now let's get into the exciting part of the video, which is talking about finances. People seem to be absolutely obsessed with anything that's associated with YouTubers' finances, so it always makes for great content. And I've always been transparent with the financial situation with things. So with this vehicle, just like all the other ones that we currently own, I'm paying cash for it. We don't have any car loans. I've said this probably, I don't know, a million times over the last year, and people always ask how much my car payment is, and it's like, I don't have any car payments. The only debt that my wife and I have are the 2 homes that we currently own, the house that we live in, and then we have a loan on the other house that we don't live in anymore that we are in the process of getting ready to sell. It's been a really long process, actually, because we moved here like 6 months ago and we still don't have the other house posted for sale. I will explain everything in another video. There's just a very unique situation with the previous house that we still own it, right? But that we're going to be selling in the near future. And once I explain the situation on that, you guys will understand why it's taken so long to sell a house. Because if any of you have sold houses before, you probably know that it usually takes like, I don't know, a month or 2 to get a house ready to post it for sale. But anyways, that's too much into the weeds and something else. You might be wondering how I'm able to pay cash for these cars, and I'm going to use another channel to illustrate how it is possible. The channel that I'm going to use is TFL, right? They're a network of channels. They've got like their TFL cars, they got truck, they got off-road, they got a bunch of different channels. They got the classic channel. And the reason I'm using TFL as an example is they've got a bunch of employees. And if you look at any TFL video, there's usually 4 people involved in any video. You have the videographer, right? The person who's filming the video. And then you usually have the 2 personalities that are on camera. Sometimes it's more, depending on the video. And then you have the person that edits the video. So you can see with any TFL video that gets posted, there's at minimum 3, sometimes 4, sometimes more people involved in the production of that video, which means that there is 3+ people that have to get paid for all the videos that they post. I do everything on this channel completely by myself. I do the filming, I do the editing, I do the posting. Anything that's associated with this channel, I do myself. I do not have any employees. So what that means is that I get paid for multiple roles. I can't talk rows. What the heck am I saying? Versus, again, you look at a TFL video and just an example. Let's say that Tommy and Andre film an off-road video. Well, they're going to get paid to be the faces of that video. And then the videographer is going to get paid to film that video. And then the editor is going to get paid to edit that video. And so the revenue of that video gets split up between those people versus what I do. It's like I get paid to film the video and to edit the video and to also be in the video as well. And so that's what makes this stuff possible, right? Is I have a business. It's not nearly as big as TFL's because I only have 1 channel. Well, I technically have 2 channels. I don't really post on my other channel anymore. I have more than 2 channels. I just don't post on the other channels. But basically, the way that you could look at this is if you took any of TFL's channels and then just had one person run that entire channel, that's kind of the scale and the scope of the channel that I have going on here. And so let's now get into the conclusion of the video, which is whether or not I'm going to keep the 250 Land Cruiser, considering that I'm going and buying the new vehicle without selling it. And well, I first want to say that I'm not going to make any decisions right now. I just want to focus on going and making sure this vehicle that we're looking at, because it is a pre-owned vehicle, just making sure that it's exactly what it has been advertised as. It looks like it's a good situation because this vehicle is being sold at a dealership that represents the brand of this vehicle brand new. So that means that mechanics that specialize in this type of vehicle are the ones that have inspected. So again, I don't think anything's going to go south with this particular deal, but I just want to focus on that first. And then once I get back from the trip and everything, then I'm going to go back to the drawing board with the 250 here. And I'm actually kind of leaning towards keeping it. Again, I've said several times that I do not want to have 4 cars. It is just absolute overkill. But there are several benefits to the 250 that it's really hard for me to look past. First off, there is a big tax benefit with this. It weighs over 6,000. Well, it doesn't weigh over 6,000 pounds. Well, actually, I think it does. No, it's 50. This one's 5,700 pounds, but it does have a gross vehicle weight rating over 6,000 pounds. So it does qualify for some good write-offs. And then when it comes to content, like I said, this thing has been absolutely fantastic. And there's a lot of future content that I think will be really good with the Land Cruiser, just owning one. Again, when the new 4Runners come out, having this to be able to compare to a new 4Runner is absolutely priceless, if you ask me, because again, Toyota videos get so much views. And then if I continue to drive this and put a ton of miles on it, I also think that that type of content is kind of priceless. Like, there's no way to replace that on YouTube. And so even though I don't want to have 4 cars, I'm kind of leaning towards that direction. So I'll obviously let you guys know what I choose in the end. I wasn't expecting things to go how they went, but again, if I had gotten a much better trade-in value on this, then I would have definitely just gone and gotten rid of it. But because of the market differences and everything, it's now put me in a situation where, well, we might be keeping the 250, and I think a lot of you guys might like that because I know a lot of people want to see if the new 250 is reliable, more specifically if this 4-cylinder hybrid is reliable. Anyways, I'll see you.